Welcome to the Uncensored Self Podcast. I am your host, Ryann Gillen, and this is a space where women who value achievement, success, accomplishment, and wealth, but also crave happiness, love, joy, and deep fulfillment come to remember that we get to have both. Not by doing more, but by being more of who we truly are. In this show, we explore identity, energy, alignment, and embodiment because you didn't come here to follow someone else's rules. You came to right your own. Let's dive in. All right, guys, welcome back to the show where, again, I have the amazing Sarah Buehner, but a little bit different context today. So Sarah is, and I've shared this with you guys, Sarah has become a friend. She's a client of mine. I am a client of hers. She does, she does the podcast production, and she's just really become a really incredible creative partner. But I've also got to sit on my side. She went through business therapy, the second iteration of business therapy last year. We've been in each other's worlds forever. And so we're just going to have a little bit of a different conversation today. But Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. This is going to be, I can just feel the magic coming.
I know, me too. Normally I shoot for like 30 or 40 minutes. I'm like, I don't know, I'm going to let Sarah talk for like 2 hours because I could listen to her talk forever. Again, because Sarah and I have been in each other's world for so long, there's so many directions we can go. But I want you to, Sarah, what I love about you and your career, like you started as a therapist and a social worker, and now you run a podcast agency.
Yes, I do.
And
yes,
you do production and content creation. Tell us your story a little bit. Let's start there. What do you feel guided to?
So it's been a really fun journey. And actually it's funny because sometimes people think like I failed, so I started something new. I'm like, oh no, I have to be having fun or I lose interest. And also I heard Rihanna say once that once she does something once, she's done with it. So like she got like top records and then she like voice overed for a movie and then she started Fenty. And so I see myself like Rihanna, just not famous, of I follow my passion. So I actually started out pre-med and I was sequencing DNA at 15 for NIH. It was wild. Side note, I helped sequence the DNA that distinguished forest and savanna elephants to save the forest elephants that were being poached and killed. So I started there, went to Johns Hopkins pre-med biomedical engineering. And I was working at a cafe and I nicked my finger and passed out and was like, medicine is not for me. So I left Hopkins because it's very expensive and went to University of Maryland. And I actually studied psychology, family science, and I have a business degree in Spanish. And I love learning. So I'm very Virgo. And then I was like, I change my mind all the time. What am I going to do now that I can't do medicine? I wanted to work in a refugee camp, actually. I wanted to do that. I didn't think I'd have kids. I just wanted to help in war zones. And I was like, social work seems good because if I change my mind, I don't have to like get a new degree. So I came out to St. Louis, got my master's in social work, started working with refugees and human trafficking survivors, like from the airport, would like drive them to their houses and get them housing and things. And then I had another clinical rotation I had to do as a social worker, and I picked therapy, and I had been in therapy for years, and I was like, oh, this is it. So I started out with therapy, and then gradually I don't work well for other people. If there's a rule, I'm like, why? Like I remember being like 20 and I pulled my boss in and I'm like, why do we have this meeting? And he was just looking at me like, what do you mean? It was like a nonprofit. So Jeremy at the time he's still a police officer and was in the military at that time and had just deployed for 13 months. And then all this crazy stuff was going on. We had Evelyn, and my boss would not let me flex my schedule in the nonprofit, even though I was meeting quota. And so I would say I was forced, but I decided to go off on my own pretty early so that I could still raise Evelyn and like deal with deployments, deal with Ferguson was happening at the time. He was in the Ferguson protests and riots. And so it really started out of, I think a lot of us, like, how do I do what I love and help people?
Right.
But also parent and like not die from the stress. Right. And how do I make money and have an impact? So gradually over the years, it started in 2013. I started my business and then went full-time 2015. So I've been full-time self-employed for 11 years, which is fun. And then as my spiritual awakening happened, I mentored with other intuitives and shamans and energy healers. And so I gradually added that to my service menu and opened a healing center where there were like 12 of us just like hanging out, doing really cool stuff that I was starting to burn out. As you know, I
Yeah.
tend to I've had a hard time saying no in the past. So
Yes.
I was still doing therapy and coaching and energy work and running the center and doing the marketing. And I was like, this can't keep going.
Yeah.
And then 2019, I was sitting with my colleagues at my healing center and I said, something's coming in 2020. I don't know what. And then
Sure.
COVID happened. And then it was a blessing in disguise for me. And I closed the healing center and moved online. And, through all of this, people also just started coming to me for business advice and support. And so since I opened, and I guess the degree with psychology and business, plus the experience, people would come to me. And I finally realized that I was really enjoying helping other helpers, helping other people
Sure.
running their business. I felt like my impact was bigger. So then
Sure.
gradually moved into marketing agency. And to now I focus mostly, as you know, on podcasting. I do run some
Yes.
ads and stuff, but
Sure.
podcasting as the main marketing ecosystem. So
Yes.
that's my journey. And
So
it's a
wild.
wild ride all the time. So
It really is. So you obviously super smart, like science was your jam. And I think that's like you study things so deeply and with detail that sometimes blows my mind, right? Like your detail is my like to the moon. We'll color it in when we get there.
yeah,
Just
yep,
like, let me tell you, it's very interesting how well Sarah and I work together and how different we are in that regard. When did like the intuition stuff come on board and all
yeah,
of that, right? Because technically
yeah.
when we think like therapy and counseling, those are not typically one and the same, right?
No,
Like,
no. And yeah. And the other thing is I gave up my license as a therapist because of the increasing intuitive stuff that it's considered out of scope. It's not therapy if you've got a psychic telling
right,
you that, right? So
right.
before I woke up to energy, what I noticed was when I was sitting in my counseling office, I started to feel my clients before they got in the room.
Mm.
So I would start to get anxious and I thought it was mine. And I'm like, oh, this isn't mine. And then I started to feel when somebody forgot
Yeah.
or were hiding from me. I could I just
I
started
feel that
testing
too
it.
with my clients. I know
Yeah.
when people forget me. I know.
Yes. You can feel it, right? It's or if there's all sorts of layers to that. But it's funny because I grew up seeing spirits, but I grew up on the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains with my sister's deadhead. So I grew up around pretty woo-woo people, but we didn't call it woo-woo. We all saw the spirits. Like we all saw, like it was just normal, and uh and then when I converted to Catholicism, I don't think I told you that, in
No?
2008, and because
Interesting.
I just really liked mass, and I saw three angels at my baptism, and I'm like, oh, like I still didn't think I was like anything, had any of that, and I was watching Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, and she started talking about sage, which I always have right next to me now, and I would just Googled where do I find sage, and so I went to this like little healing shop and I told the lady I needed sage because I was feeling drained. And she's like, you should see our shaman. And I was like, no, it's like $200 an hour. We were young. I was like, I have like $600 right now. Like, no. Jeremy called the shop and made them make me see them because he knew how drained I was. And so I walk in and I told the shaman I was tired. She goes, well, you're a medium. I was like, I am not a medium. That would be really cool, but I'm not. And she's like, well, do you see dead people? And I was like, yeah, it doesn't. I literally thought until that point, everybody saw dead people. Like, and so then I mentored with her and several people because I
Uh-huh.
take it very seriously, as you know, like
Sure.
if you're intuiting or especially the mediumship piece, I wanted to know that what I was getting was accurate. So I did a really long study for like 4 or 5 years with different shamans and psychics and stuff. So that's how I figured it out.
It's so fun. And then how
Yes.
does that come into play in the business now? Because someone,
Yeah.
myself included, right? And
Yeah.
it's Sarah and I's journey has been so fun in the years since we met each other. We determined we met in like what, 2021?
I think
21 or
so. Yeah.
22 was when we figured. And like we've kind of gone back and forth, right? Like when I
Yeah.
was going headstrong into business, Sarah was like, I'm going back to like intuition and astrology and human design, but it becoming part
Yes.
of your study, right? Like that's what you were doing. And then
Right.
when I wanted to get out of business and I went into like Be in the Room, which is more the women's
Yeah.
organization, you were like, I'm back over here in marketing. And like we've just crisscrossed
We
over.
do.
But I think we
Yeah.
both realized there's a through line between the two. It's not either
Yes.
or.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of misunderstandings around it. Yeah, like even our hair. My hair hasn't been this long in 10 years and you're going shorter and I'm going
Yeah.
longer. It's always so fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because it keeps us grounded in both, the
Yes.
conversations we have. You know, it's it I think before people integrate intuition, it's a lot of what you talk about of like push the buttons and do more and this thing comes out.
Right.
But I also see it on the other side where I was just having a conversation with a client, and I've totally been here, where if we go lean too much intuitive, we're giving our power away. I remember I was trying to figure out what to do next, like several years ago, and I kept
Mhm.
asking spirit and asking my guides or asking whoever. But what I realized is if I was in fear energy, I would get a safe answer back. If I
Mm.
was in a really high vibe energy, I got a new answer back. So what frequency we're asking questions from, even when we're not doing intuitive work, but when you're tuning in intuitively to what should I do next, where we start matters. And what
Yeah.
I finally got to was I
Mm.
got here before working with you, but at a deeper level now is like, what if our soul talks to us through what we want? Like, what do
Yes.
you want to do? And so I think it's
No, I
both, right? So, okay.
I don't know. Well,
You
you
got
just said,
chills. Oh,
what if our
that's
soul
hilarious.
talks to us through what we want? And like my all the arms, like hair on my arms,
Yeah.
just sorry. Keep
Right. And
going.
then think about, I mean, you talk about this all the time, what we're conditioned to not want anything, right? And
Right.
it is things like I want to travel, but I also it's when I didn't want to be a therapist anymore, I felt really bad. I felt
Yeah.
guilty.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't me, it was done. It was time for me to move on. And
Right.
so I think our desire is more important than our intuition, honestly.
Ooh,
So,
that's interesting.
yes.
Because, but I've never heard you say that before either. So your intuition
Oh,
can only give you as good of answers as you are energetically.
right.
So
Yep.
if you are consistently in like what I would call like below the line, right? Like we
Mhm.
deal with the frequency scale. We talk a lot about the emotional
Yes.
guidance scale in my space, right? Anything below the line, like if you were asking questions from doubt or
Yeah.
worry, your intuition is always going to give you answers to solve the doubt or worry,
Mhm.
not actually solve the problem.
Yeah. It
Mm,
can, yeah, and sometimes that's like the norm, right? There can be
sure.
exceptions, but
Of course.
I feel like then people are chasing their tail, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what does spirit want me to do next? Or, you know, you and I talk about this with human design and astrology that
Yes.
it's a great tool. How did you put it earlier? You said it's
You
a
should
great
work on
tool to
it.
amplify what we're already doing. It's not supposed to be prescriptive. You
Yes.
didn't say that. I'm putting it into those words. It's not the power isn't in the astrology or
Right.
the intuition, it's in supporting from our center of power,
Yes.
from our
Yes.
creator energy.
Yes. Because that's what we were talking about,
Yeah.
right? Giving away our power.
Yeah.
And it
Yep.
was, yeah, a lot of people, whether it is, and again, we're talking about, more psychic, intuitive type stuff,
Hmm.
but a lot of people give their power away to a more traditional, right? We give our power
Right.
away to gurus or blueprints or people who make a lot of
Right.
money. People who make a lot of money or
Yeah.
people who have a lot of followers or, oh, that
Hmm.
person is the most successful person in my industry. And so we give our power away to that person
Right.
instead of owning our own power. But then, like I
Right.
said, on the more spiritual side, people give their power. Well, that's my human design, right? Or my
Right.
astrology or my, I have a client, a private client I coach around all the time. So I say, well, I'm just I'm like, you're not just anything, right? Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
driving
Yeah.
there, like
Yeah.
is it a tool? Is it a roadmap? Is it a guide? You once
Hmm.
described it to me, Sarah, and it like totally made sense for me. You were like, I look at the weather every day, right? Like,
Hmm.
because I'm not gonna mow the lawn during a storm.
Right. That's
Like,
exactly it.
how you talk to me about
Right.
astrology, because you know me, I'm a weird you guys know this. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Tell me all the things. Tell me about the dead
Yeah.
people you talk to. I wanna hear about all like, what are they saying?
Yeah.
I wanna" like, I'm a total weirdo.
Yeah.
And I love it and I enjoy it, but
Yeah.
that's how you made me realize it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, it's doesn't really I'm not gonna change my plans for the days unless my plan was to mow the lawn, and then I'm probably not gonna mow
Right.
the lawn on the day that it's storming. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna
Right.
mow the lawn. I'm just gonna mow the
Right.
lawn at a time when it's not raining. And I think that sometimes
Exactly.
that with spiritual tools, right? Like astrology or human design or, Enneagram. I mean, anyone, pick
Hmm.
one, right? Like where we're like,
Yes.
oh, this thing has the power. Like, no, you're the power and it's the tool. It's the thing I told
Right.
you it's gonna rain this afternoon. You probably shouldn't mow your lawn. You should mow this morning.
Exactly. Yeah, so I heard intuitively not to do anything on the last Virgo eclipse that happened last fall, and that's the day I did. I was running with my dogs and fell on my face. I
Oh
don't know if you remember
gosh.
that. I like
I
busted
totally remember that.
everything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. So intuition can be helpful. Like, get this. Okay. I was supposed to go to West Virginia next week to see my
Yeah.
family. And I don't know why, but I was like, I'm not supposed to go. And I was bummed. I have FOMO. Like my family's really big. They're Irish. It's like a big
Yeah.
gathering. And but I knew I was like, I'm not supposed to be there. And then my Airbnb canceled. And I was like,
Huh.
And then my mom, who's intuitive, but she knows it, but she thinks it's actually, this is her own Irish guilt. She thinks it's bad luck to tune in, and that's been something for
Oh,
me to unprogram. But she's like, "Yeah,
sure.
I got that. I got that too. My engine is done in my Telluride, so we
Oh,
wouldn't have had the car to drive there." And I didn't know that. I just listened. It was just loud.
yeah.
It's fun. So one thing I heard before we met today is so many people are trying to figure out the intuition thing. And I
Yeah.
always say start small with something fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just about like seeing the future or whatnot, but it's like, do I think this client's going to show or not?
Yeah.
Or even things like what feels more, and some people wouldn't even call this intuitive. What feels better for me right now? Working out or taking a walk or sitting on my couch and just start listening, not with your mind, but like your body is a good place to start.
Yeah.
So it's those little ways, and then when you build trust in your intuition, you
Mm.
can lean on it a little bit more too.
Yeah.
So,
I got to tell you an intuition story. You guys all met Roxy a couple weeks ago on the
mhm.
show. So she went to Europe for 10 days. And she had to make a connection. She was flying. She lives in Louisiana, so she's flying from New Orleans to Chicago, and I think Chicago to Europe. And she gets to Chicago, and they keep offering to check bags, right? Like the plane's full. You should check your bag. You should check your bag. You should check your bag. And she knew she should not check
Yep.
her bag. And then they were like, yeah, but it's convenient. You have to go through this airport, and we'll make sure it gets there. What do you motherfucking know?
I saw that post. I felt
Yeah,
so bad for her.
her bag couldn't fucking get there. Showed up the next
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
And it was like, no, your intuition told you loud and clear to hold on to the bag. Like it
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
feel right when you handed the bag off to
Yep.
that person. Like that's intuition. And I
Yes.
think, and for me, as somebody who didn't know I was intuitive, like it might have been you. Like you might have been the first person that was like, oh, you didn't know?
Oh yeah, I remember that. You're like, "What?"
You and
And I was like, "No,
Stacey.
see." Well,
One of you was
it was
like,
probably both of us. Yeah.
yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
no, you don't know. But I mean, things like that have been happening my whole
Mhm.
life. I just
Yeah.
didn't know it was intuition. Like,
Right.
and I use it specifically in my sales career. Like, I would
Mhm.
remember people at the weirdest times.
Yep.
They would be like, oh, you should call Sarah. And I was like, I haven't talked to Sarah in fucking months.
Yeah.
Right. But if I
Yeah.
called Sarah when that thought came in,
Yep.
something would happen. And maybe it wasn't that Sarah became the client, right? But it was in business. It was
Yep.
just this person, this person, this person. I know when people interact with my social media content, whether or not I want to have a conversation with them.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that's what that was. Like, I just thought it
Yes.
was kind of my mood or was how I was feeling that day, or I'm just sitting here on the couch and don't have anything better to do. So I guess I'll text Sarah. Like, I
Right.
wasn't putting two and two together that those messages were coming
Yes.
from my soul, my higher self, whatever you believe in, right?
Right.
I
Right.
didn't know.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, and
I
I
know.
think
Yeah.
too that thing of you and I are both intellectual and we hold masculine and feminine energy and we
Yes.
have the intuition and like people think you have to have one or the other, but to me
Yes.
it's like if you're a crystal, these are all the different sides.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's the other thing I'm thinking about when you're saying that, I just lost it. Hold on. Oh, that's what they're I don't know, I just call it spirit. Uses me as an example to people. So what I heard was to explain how I know it's intuition versus not. It comes
Ooh.
in through the back of my head for me. Everybody's different. So
Yeah.
I'll hear something and my brain is like over here. So I've learned to really hone that gift for myself. But the thought I have, oh, that's what they're saying. If it's channeled, I'll lose it. And my thoughts will be
Yes.
like, what? And I do think anybody can learn to channel. I think all of us are intuitive and we won't go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theory. I think it's been pulled out of us
Not today.
intentionally for like thousands of years because then we can't be controlled or we can't,
Right.
we're
Right.
in our, but I'll stop that part. But it's just like dancing or cooking, right? Like you don't want me to dance for you. I did that in high school. It was a primarily like non-white school and like I was up there dancing and it was hilarious, right? So
I bet you're
some
so
of us
fun.
are more intuitive or we can learn to dance, but then
Right.
there's people who just naturally have it more too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's my belief with it.
Yeah. No, I think we all have it. I just think, yeah, we tune into it in different ways. Like my
Right.
mother will tell you she's not intuitive,
Hmm.
but then she'll be like, oh, yeah, when we were in high
Yeah.
school, every time the cops were getting called, I always knew when I left.
Yep.
So the number of times her sisters or my father
Yeah.
got caught in the crosshairs and mom was like, I'm out, like
Yep.
something isn't right. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, mom, you're totally. But meanwhile, my
Yeah.
grandmother is a Russian Jew, like gypsy
Yeah.
by name. Like we come by it all.
Yes.
Got the Irish, got the gypsies,
Yeah.
like we are all
Yeah.
fucking in. But nobody in my family, like I am the weirdo.
Right.
Like nobody, I wish I never talked about it with my mother's sisters. There's a wedding next year. It's the only time everybody all gets together. Maybe I'll start polling all
Yeah.
my mom's sisters, how many of them like tap into their intuition and
Yeah.
stuff. 'Cause, yeah, mom will tell you she's not, but then she'll do
Right.
stuff or say stuff that I'm like, okay, mom.
Yes.
What do you say?
But, I think that's the coolest part because I'm 99.9% Irish and Scottish and then 0.1% Nigerian, which I just love. And but I think one thing that surprised me doing healing work on because to hold the psychic level of intuition where you're channeling or talking to whoever,
Yeah.
it requires a certain lifestyle. Like you just have
Yes.
to it's a practice, just like you talk about.
Yeah.
And one of the most surprising things to me is it connected me with my ancestry.
Whoa.
Because especially working as a white girl with shamans, right? That
Yeah.
one was taught from the Maori tribe in Australia, one was
Okay.
from Guatemala, one was an Italian guy from the city, one was a Native American that shaman, and I always felt a little guilty that I was appropriating cultures,
Mm.
even though that's not what's how spirit sees it. That
Right.
it's more. But anyway, when I realized, wait a second, like I have Druid and Celtic and Gaelic blood. Like it was
Yeah.
just very interesting. And then starting to tap into that lineage was so interesting and empowering. I didn't feel like I felt rooted.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say that with your family. I wonder if exploring that will have that for you.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because then I went down like Russian Jew and the Kabbalion and all this other stuff. And Derek's like, "You think that's why, Rye?" And I'm like, "Shut up." I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't grandma was always said that grandma was Russian Jew, like Russian Jew,
Mhm.
but like they were raised Catholic. They were raised Irish
Mhm.
Catholic. They were not
Right.
converted. Like it was, we knew it existed, but it
Yes.
was not really explored. We
Yes.
were raised in an Irish Catholic culture.
Yes.
That's how my parents were raised, right? Like, and so it was just something that existed. And I didn't get into this space until the last 5 years of my life,
Yeah.
really openly. And it
Yeah.
didn't like put two and two together. I hadn't studied much enough of Judaism to
Mhm.
understand, you know, any of that. And
Right.
so,
Yes. And the thing is too, the Irish did a really good job of I'm speaking as an ancestor, did a really good job like putting Catholicism in a box.
yeah,
And when we go back to the original books, and then I have a lot of friends that talk about the mysticism of the
mm,
Catholic Church that's been pulled out.
I
It's so
bet.
cool to see like that there's a resurgence of going back almost like to a Kabbalic. I've studied I haven't st that
Yeah,
doesn't sound I haven't studied the Kabbalah, I've learned about it.
right.
Um, but then in Mexico, because I lived in I studied in Mexico and then I lived there for a little bit. I would go to mass there, and it's the old Aztec buildings that there's
Yeah,
still, like, the Aztec culture, but then it was a little more mystical
I
than
bet.
the
But in just the
yeah.
Mexican culture in general.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Oh,
saw we
yeah.
saw a shaman in Mexico. We were on the
Oh, did
cruise.
you? Oh, I
Yeah,
love that. That's
yeah,
so
we
fun.
totally did. They did
I
like a
love that.
ceremony and like all the stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right, Sarah and I can him and Hama
Oh,
this
we
shit.
could go anywhere. Yes.
I want to bring us back. I want to talk about your business therapy journey
Yeah.
because I remember. So, first of all, Sarah was such a beautiful representation of the energy work, right? So, I'm going to tell everybody how that wound up happening. I had a girlfriend one day to email me, former client, friend, whatever, just more of a professional colleague, but someone I know and love. She was like, Rye, can you help me out with something? Like, I'm chewing on something. And I said, yeah, I've got some time this afternoon. And I called this gal, or she called me, and I gave her an idea. And she was trying to hit a quota. She was trying to hit a quota, and she needed to make $3,000 more, and it was going to significantly impact her bonus. And she was like, any ideas, like, what do you got? Maybe she was asking me, like, can you send an email to your list? Right. Like she reached out to me like for help. And I was like, I don't really think that's going to serve you well based on what I know, but have you done this, or this? And she was like, oh my God, those are amazing ideas. And so we went and took the ideas. And later that day, she text messaged me and she hit her quota.
That's so
And of
cool.
course, I was in this, I was still Not really, but the first thought was like, I should have charged for that call, right? Like my first
Mm,
inclination was like, I should have charged for that call. And then
mhm.
again, 'cause that was my first reaction. And then I very quickly was like, no, right? What you put out, you come back. And you and I think I'd already had a call scheduled. You would just reach out to me and you're like, we haven't caught up forever. Can we get on a call? And so I just thought we were catching up.
I
And
did too.
like, I think I need to join business therapy. And at
Yeah.
the time, business therapy was $3,000. And that was
Yeah.
what she needed to meet her quota. And that's what when you join the
Oh,
program.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, literally the
That
next
is
day.
so
She
fun.
needed $3,000 to hit her quota, and at the time, business therapy was $3,000, or just under. It was like 2,800
Yeah,
or
I was yeah. That is so cool. I love
and I
that
had
so
no
much.
idea that that's why you had reached out. It was just like, "Hey, we
Yeah.
hadn't talked in a long time," and again, I was
Yeah.
zigging and you were zagging and business as usual, so I'm like, "Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
let's talk." And then you
Right.
wound up in business therapy, and like you said, you didn't expect it either. Let's talk about that
No.
change.
No, I literally just had that intuitive nudge to just catch up like we always do, and I
Yeah.
was like, I saw you were talking about business therapy, and I could feel something had shifted, and we got on the call, and I remember going, "Oh, fuck." 'Cause, what's that metaphor where, like, it's the frog thing where if you put a frog in boiling water, it'll jump
Yeah,
out, but if
yeah,
it's in it and it just gradually heats up, it doesn't notice.
yeah,
So, things were going great in my business, like, things were growing, I had great clients, but
yeah.
when I got to that call, the dissonance in our frequencies, your frequency was
Yeah.
up here in joy, and I had picked the word discipline for 2025, and I was exhausted, right? And it was bad, and I
It's
just
the
remember just feeling, like,
word.
tired
Yeah.
and I was like, "Ryan, I don't think I'm okay." And you
But
were
you're
just, like,
like,
not
"I
quite
didn't
sure.
know, but I'm not okay right now."
Yeah, and I was like, "I'm in." And, again, I think this is gonna be kind of a marketing digression, but I'm
Yeah,
feeling
no,
guided to
go
go
there.
there. You and I both individually and then together have been talking about this like proving energy in marketing
Yeah.
that sometimes we can accidentally get into like, let me prove to you why I want to work with you.
Mm.
And I didn't need to be proved to like, and that's the beauty of that, how that attracted together
Yeah.
is I was like, my oh fuck moment. And I just knew it was you. Like, I just knew like what I just knew. And so
Right.
it's been such a great journey. And I feel like we're just getting started. And I was just talking to a client this morning about she's where I was a year ago.
Right.
And I have her listening to your podcast,
Ugh.
and, I'm trying to nudge her towards business therapy, but I want her to make that decision, I don't wanna nudge anybody anywhere, but I told her that's the biggest shift is, like, not too much changed on the outside. I mean, I'm niching down,
Of course.
but it's easier than ever, like,
Mhm.
literally. It's more fun than ever. Even when things are hard, I recalibrate right
Yeah.
away. Like, I'm growing my team now,
Oh,
I have, I would say, double the clients now than I had
yeah.
last year when I was in the discipline.
Yeah.
And it's really been I'm gonna be honest, I was really embarrassed to
Mm.
join in the sense that I've been doing personal work since 2005, and here we're in
Right.
2026. And I'm like, and I'm intuitive. That's supposed to fix everything, right? That's another myth. Like,
Yeah.
I'll go there. I want to come back to that actually.
Alright, I'll write it down.
Um,
Anyway.
but I was like, why? Why am I so burned out? Like, what? I've been doing this for a long time, but what I realize in going through business therapy and then being in your alumni experience is it's not just enough to like light some sage and like
Yeah.
buy crystals, and that I'm minimizing what I was doing, but I had missed the daily practice. It was
Mm.
like, well, once I get all of this done, then I can go
Right.
meditate or work on my mindset. And that's been the thing. I think that's why did I tell you both of my cars died this weekend? And I was like,
Oh.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was like hanging with the Blue Angels, like, we got it. And like, it's just like my life is so wild now. And
Yeah.
like, it already was pretty cool before, but like, my baseline has moved to this space of like
Mm.
magic all the time.
Right.
So,
Even magic in the bullshit. Like, I think that's the piece that
yeah.
some people are like, "Oh, when you guys talk about magic, it means nothing ever goes wrong." It's like, no, physical things
Yeah.
break. Engines
Yes.
go out in cars, right? Like, that's going to happen. It's when it happens and how it happens and
Mhm.
how to with it and the resources you have available to deal with the things.
Right.
And I love it. Like I can even feel it in your energy. Like
Yeah.
there was no, and I would even argue even 6 months ago, Sarah, if that had happened and both cars had gone out, you would have reached out to me. Like you would have
Yeah.
been in a panic. What are we gonna do?
Yep.
Like there would have been money drama. There would have been what the
Yes.
fuck's wrong drama. There would
Yes.
have been a lot of drama. And
Yeah.
I got no drama.
Yeah.
And we're just like,
Yeah.
we're gonna figure it out. And
Yeah.
that's it. And when you have the energy and the belief system that I can figure it out, or I'm going to figure it out, or it will all work out, right?
Right.
It always does.
Yes. You want to hear the funniest thing?
Yes.
Is I did freak out at first. It like we went from like 25 miles an hour to it stopping
Oh
in the
God.
road. I was so grateful that it wasn't on a highway. We were right down the
Mhm.
street from my house. Like our neighbors, the
Yeah.
alderman came out. Like it was a whole thing. I love Missouri for that reason. That would not be the East Coast way.
Oh, no, no shame.
Um, but at first I'm walking home going, oh shit, like how are we gonna pay for this? Like then I
Yeah.
started there and I was like, wait, we're not going there. Because
Yeah.
we're gonna move through this no matter what. So I got into the energy of like, it will work out. And then um the tow guy realized that Jeremy was a police officer, gave us half off discount for the tow and dropped
Yes.
him off. And then I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure I bought a full coverage warranty and I forgot. So I got back into like things are going to work out. So I opened up my office yesterday and I found it. It's like full
Right.
coverage. Like I think there's like a $200 deductible because I started doing the like I can't buy another $50,000 or $60,000 car right now. And I was like
Right.
I probably could, but I like shifted my mindset and like it just popped in like oh yeah you already fixed this years ago when you bought
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
and I just forgot. So it was like, that's so cool that that just
Right.
happened. I would have just
Yeah.
forgotten and freaked out. And it
Mm.
was just fine.
I
So,
love it.
yeah,
And I think, and that is it, is like life's how you
right,
show up for it is how it turns out.
right.
And it's, there's so many things in that are,
Hmm.
I think, this misunderstanding. And so I want to bring you back, right, to the
Okay.
myth that intuition fixes everything, because I also
Yes.
have thoughts about like needing coaching. So, but I want to hear your thoughts on the myth that intuition fixes everything, and like you
Right.
literally feeling some embarrassment about being out of alignment in some
Yeah.
ways, realizing it. Tell us about that.
Yes. So the first thing that comes to mind is we're still humans living this life.
Of course. That we
And
chose. Our souls
right,
chose it. Like we came here by choice to
right.
experience this
Yes.
specific
All of it.
time space reality.
Right. All of it. And that's also where I don't believe in that everything happens to us for a reason because that can feel really gaslighty, but I feel like everything that happens to us is an opportunity for us to grow.
Yes.
And so it's not like have you ever played I remember in the 90s I'd play Sonic the Hedgehog and I had the cheat mode button and I
Yeah.
was like, well, no, this is boring. I beat it. Like
Right.
so I think of it that way like it we wouldn't want to live I know we think we would, but we wouldn't want to
Right.
live a life with a cheat code. It gets boring really fast. And so there's that, right? So we have things to learn. And I do believe in manifesting, but again, I don't think everything like I'll just move on from that. But I also see I work naturally attract a lot of psychics and intuitives and or people who've opened up to it. And they're like, well, why is my business failing if I'm psychic? I should
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of shame around that and people giving up. And it makes me sad because those anybody that's doing heart-centered work in this world, intuitive or not, we're all intuitive. When we shine our light and when we grow our business, it's making the world a better place.
Yeah.
And so what I remind people is you do need both. You need
Yeah.
all marketing is human behavior.
Yeah.
That's business, sales. And so when we understand human behavior, and we can apply it to any business model we decide,
Right.
and then that works. So I find it's usually mindset of can I do this? You know that.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
then it's also there's a lack of skills, right? Of like, well,
Yeah.
what does marketing psychology look like? And then once people learn it, they're fine.
Right. Right.
Or like you talk about, or in the experience we talk about this too, are we actually ready for the growth that we want? Right? Like
Whoa.
last April, I wasn't ready to hold the business that I have now.
Right.
And so that's not well, it was a subconscious kind of
Right.
block, right? Of like, I don't like that word, but
Right.
when we lean, so we can utilize intuition, but it's also it's not the only you can run an intuitively led business, but if you're really intentional about what you're creating, again, you're the creator, not
Yeah.
spirit or like
Yeah.
it's you, it's your life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I mean by that too.
Yeah. No, and thank you for that. And there's a million ways it could go because I used to think that too, right? Like once I knew this, once I did my work with Stacy, I went through my
Right.
certification. It was like, oh, I shouldn't need coaching anymore. I know the tools,
Right.
right? I know the tools, but what? And well, first of all, I think there's two reasons for that, right? Universal law
Mhm.
works 100% of the time. So when you wind up in when you choose the word discipline for the fucking year,
I know.
you
I
are going
know. I
give
messed that
yourself
one
a
up.
fuck ton of
Yeah.
opportunities to be real disciplined, right? Like it works
Mhm.
100% of the time. And so if you
Yeah.
don't have a mirror, if you don't have something that interrupts the pattern, right? Like taking it back to
Mhm.
like science and physics, right? Like there needs
Right.
to be a pattern interrupt. There needs to be a spark to start a fire. Like the energy
Exactly.
has to shift. And so if you're just inside of your own head mirroring your own shit,
Yep.
the level of awareness it takes to actually coach yourself and not ever get any support is wild. Because I did that for a long
Right.
time too. Like I went from
Mhm.
one-on-one coaching and then I was just in like memberships and I was like, well, I could just learn and coach myself.
Yeah.
And not to say that that wasn't working, quote unquote, right? But
Right.
there's there's some shit in there. Like there are things that come out of your mouth automatically that you don't catch because your brain filters it out because you've said it
Right.
so many times that somebody else hears. Like I can usually tell in minutes while somebody's business isn't going the way that they want it to,
Yeah.
like within moments. And they've
Right.
spent the last 2 years trying to solve the same motherfucking problem. And within minutes, I know
Yep.
what the problem is. And it's because I'm from the outside looking in. I don't have your
Right.
story. I don't have your bullshit. I'm looking at the current ecosystem and your energy, and I know immediately what's wrong.
Yes. And I will say too, it's so much easier to look at well, anytime, but
Of
even
course.
intuitively, it's so much easier for me to tune into somebody else, especially if I don't know them already, which is surprising because I have no filter. I have no like
Right. Yeah.
preconceived stuff. But it's like anything, it's harder when it's our own stuff. We're too
Of course.
emotionally attached. But what did you
And
you said
that's the point of
yeah,
coaching, like, to me,
that's it.
or even
Yeah.
working with an intuitive, right? Like,
Yeah.
that was the whole like, the
Right.
idea and then the final piece of this is the more practical piece, maybe not the final, but another piece is, like, the arrogance, right? The
Yeah.
arrogance
I
of
could
us
see that.
as humans to think
Yeah.
that, like, I don't need support. Like, when we look at the people who whether
Hmm.
or not you think they're elite, but when we look at elite athletes or even musicians, like, you look at the Taylor Swifts of the world and
Right.
whatever you believe these people, like, they all are so supported. Like, you think that
Yes.
those people aren't getting coached on their brain, on their energy. They might call it something fucking different. It might be a sports psychologist or performance,
Yeah.
whatever. But the idea that people that are
Yeah.
doing really big things in the world aren't getting support is wild. And so
Yes.
the arrogance that we have that we think that we could figure it out on our own, like the fuck?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even, my daughter Evelyn she's in the acting industry and has a manager and an agent, and that's the number one thing. Like, even when we meet, like, I've met a few, like, Mia Harris from Monsters High, and, like, that's some of the things that they talk about is, like, she's always training.
Mhm.
And that it yeah. I think for me too, it was partially arrogance, especially, like, I love my therapist friends, but some of us sometimes, or this was me, sometimes felt like in the beginning that I was like psychologically superior. Like when I was really
Right.
early
Yes.
on. I mean, I was like in
Yeah.
my early 20s and I was a good therapist, but it's like that doesn't mean that I don't ever need help
Of
with whether it's
course.
business or therapy or coaching. But I think my bigger narrative was coming from this self-neglect space
Mm,
of I'm still healing that self-neglect journey of seeing myself as an investment.
yeah.
And so now it's like I couldn't imagine not having your coaching, right?
Mm.
Because I just told somebody else this, you've heard me say this before, like you scratch parts of my brain that like I can't scratch. And it's the payoff or the return is like infinite. Like it changed how I
Mm.
see things. And I even do like, well, what would Ryan tell me right now? Oh,
Oh,
Ryan
yeah.
would say this. So we should get like little WWRD.
I love that.
We'll
I
turn it
love
into like a culty thing. But
Mm.
but I think that's right. It's like it's part of the I also feel like I'm taking myself more seriously. Like I had this like I realized I was playing at half my potential
Right.
because it was easier to be there and succeed than like be vulnerable and
Yeah.
maybe fail. But now that's not even a concern. Like it's
Sure.
well, I wasn't ever that's my cocky. I was never actually worried I would fail. But I think that worked out for me. Like everything I've done works.
Of course.
And I think it's because I believe that.
Yeah. Right. It's the level, like, but I say that all the time. I've said this on the show a million times, right? Like, the results are inevitable, right?
Hmm.
Like, what you're building, the vision that you have for this business, and though you
Right.
listening and Sarah now, like, if that's what you desire, if you
Right.
can lock in on that vision and focus on it, you can bring it to fruition. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that is not up for discussion. It's how long
Right.
is it going to take, and are you going to enjoy the journey?
Yes. You know
Like, to
what?
me, that's my work.
Yeah, that's it. So one thing that like part of my intuition is I can like predict things. Like, so I can predict when we're actually going to get a tornado. I actually remember I messaged you a couple months ago. I was like, you
Yes.
should go to your basement.
Yeah.
And we get tornadoes all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
No, she did. She was like, I hope you're in the basement. I'm like, the sirens are going off. She's like, I know.
And you're
Across
from
the
Kansas.
street.
So you're like, ugh, whatever.
I'm from here. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Derek's outside. And Sarah's like, are
Yeah.
you in the basement? I'm like, I am. I've got the dogs. But yeah,
Yes.
Sarah and I, we live on opposite sides of the state. I live in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Sarah lives in St. Louis. So
Yeah.
like usually the storm systems roll through us into
Hmm.
you. And then, it's typically that way. It comes from
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
Because they come off, like, we get them off the Rockies, right? Like, we get them from
Yes.
Colorado and they come that way, and that's where they come from, and they keep going. So you
Yeah.
also are
So
weird about weather. You tune into weather a lot.
I do tune into weather, and like I have my own little private group where I text everybody, you should go inside. This one's not a big deal. And but I can feel them. There was one that I didn't feel and the sirens went off. And I'm like, is this what it feels like to not be intuitive? Like a tornado just comes and you don't know like a week ahead of time. And like last year we went to Toronto for a photo shoot for Evelyn, and we were driving from here because
Yeah,
we're Midwesterners and you just drive and it's fun.
100%.
Yeah. And I was like, the week before, I'm like, Friday, there's going to be a tornado. My dogs are going to freak out and our sitter's going to cancel. I just knew. So
Yeah,
we actually got a backup. And what happened? We got a tornado. The sitter canceled. We had our backup. So it is nice, right, to have that. But I just made the connection that that's why I've always believed I know what's going to work because I can feel it.
right.
And then it is law of attraction, right? It's, well, if you
Sure,
believe it and then you operate from that, it's going to happen.
of
But
course.
when I see stuff, sometimes, not all the time, I'm like, that'll work, that won't.
Yeah.
And, but I think we can all build, it's self-trust. It's learning to, it's just
Um,
training. It's just
it is.
training your brain. That's it.
It really is training your brain. And it is like asking yourself the question,
Mm-hmm.
like, number one question I get from clients, from people interested in my work, from
Yep.
anybody that looks at my work is always the how, right?
Yeah.
Well, how would I do that? How would I
Right.
get being this person who works all of the time and who has my hand in
Mm-hmm.
everything? So what you and Sarah are talking about, right? Like, that road feels
Yeah.
so long and so hard. How would I do it?
Yeah.
And it really frustrates the fuck out of people. And I'm like, I have no fucking idea.
Right.
Right? Like, that's
Yeah.
not, it's the wrong question,
Mm-hmm.
right? The question is not how. The
Yeah.
question is, even just asking, like, who would I need to be for that to work out?
Yes.
That's the question. When you ask how
Yes.
questions, who would I need to be? And that is a self-trust thing, because
Yeah.
the only person who can answer that question is you, right?
Yep.
When you ask how, you can go find any Tom, Dick, and Harry on the internet to give you a fucking answer. And no matter, and whatever you're looking for,
Yep.
you're going to find, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how most of us do it. I'm going to either
Yeah.
go to AI, I'm going to pull up my chat, and I'm going to have it affirm
Right.
me, right? Or I'm going to
Right.
go get my validation from somebody else who I know is going to agree with me,
Mm-hmm.
and we do that instead of, who would I need to be? Like, if I believed that this thing was
Right.
already handled, if my business already looked this way, if I was already in this situation, what would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? Like, it's such a more powerful place, but it is a
It
matter of self.
is. It is. That's so true. And I think that's been I keep saying the biggest game changer. There's so much. Like, it's so I want to come back to the how thing. So I used to tell people in the beginning, and I still do. I think it's a different message than what you're saying. So people ask their brain, can I do it or not? Can I do this or not?
Yeah.
And then your brain is answering that question.
Yeah.
And it usually sides to the negative because that feels safer because it's known. So I always tell people, instead of that, say, how can I do it? But
Right.
it's because then your brain's going to go, well, it could go this way. It could go this way. It could go this way. But I think the how you're talking about is like, okay, great. Now what? Like, it's like this, like, but the thing that has really anchored in for me is asking that question, like you said, from the identity. So the daily practice, like
Yes.
the lead magnet that you have,
Yes.
the 5 minutes
Sarah
of
just put a date on when my lead magnet will be ready.
well, I'll help you.
She's like, "I know when we're releasing this, and you need to get your shit together. It'll
That's
be done."
hilarious. You're like, "Dang it, Sarah." Um,
It's
but
on the
even just it's so good and it's so simple. It's 5
It
minutes
is.
of I do meditation and breathing and then
Yeah.
5 minutes of what's already great,
Yeah.
and then 10 minutes of I'm in this specific identity, now what? And when I'm asking how, it's not
Mhm.
from a, "Oh shit, I can't am I gonna do this?"
Right.
It's a, "Oh, I am that person. I'm becoming that person." Or it is. I don't know if the language there we need to refine that language, but it
It's a
becomes
practice.
yeah,
It's a practice. Who am I
yeah,
being in the moment?
right. That's it. It's being, not becoming.
Yes, it's being. Who am I being?
Yeah,
We're always being somebody, right? Even
right.
when we're practicing being somebody we're not yet in that moment.
Mhm.
I always use the basketball player example, right? When we
Yeah,
talk about identity, when I rolled this out to my clients, it's called the identity practice, guys.
yeah.
It's a going to be a PDF that kind of walks you through it, and then about a 20-minute recording that I have that kind of explains the whole process. But I talk about the idea that like when you start to learn the sport of basketball, I don't know why basketball
Mhm.
was my example at the time. Like as soon as you start playing, you're a basketball player, right? Like, and I use
Right.
Georgia as an example, who just turned 7. Like, she's not
Yeah.
good at basketball, but she doesn't know that,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
it's fine. She's just a baller. She is a
Right.
basketball player. She's not a good basketball player. She's not an
Right.
experienced basketball player yet, but in her
Mhm.
mind, she's a basketball player. And we
Yeah.
don't do that to ourselves, right? We're like, oh, I'm
Right.
just learning, or I don't know, or I'm a beginner. That's my favorite. We'll be like, I'm just a beginner, right? Like, I'm a baby entrepreneur. This is just new to me, or this is like, we'll downplay it instead of like, I'm a fucking basketball player, right? Like, I'm just a
Right.
professional. I am who I am. And so, any given moment of any given day, we're practicing being somebody. Who are you going to
Right.
practice being? And so, this practice is designed to, on purpose, spend time thinking from the life you want. And
Yeah.
sometimes we play with business. Sometimes, like I've given you guys a million different directions, right? Play with business, play with your relationships, play with your
Mhm.
friendships, play with your romantic relationship, play with your children. Like really thinking
Yeah.
about what kind of mom do I want to be, right? What kind of partner do I want to be? What kind of friend do I want to be? What kind of relationships do I want to be in? How do I want to spend my time? Like it's not just like, okay, if I were a business owner, like that's part of it.
Yeah.
Talk about business. It's our art, right? The
Yeah.
business is the form of art you and I both choose to express ourselves. But it literally works for anything, and it's so
It
fun.
does.
Do it every day,
And
and I love it.
no, I agree. It reminds me Conor McGregor, the MMA fighter. I'm not a huge fighter person, but I tend to like Joe Rogan and Conor McGregor. When he started his career as a was he a boxer?
I'm not
One of them. It's irrelevant. But he I saw an interview where he trained as if he already had the title,
Yeah,
and people thought he was insane. And he
yeah,
got the title or whatever it's called, and it. I love that story because he didn't care what anybody else thought, and he knew what he was doing, and he aligned his actions, and
right,
it trickles in everywhere. Because what I notice, especially for women in business, is we can't really fully separate our lifestyle and our day to day from business. We can have good boundaries of working and not, but it's all frequency. So, what I've been so surprised at for whatever reason is being so right now I'm focused on being the CEO of a media company that see
mm.
I'm even hesitating as I say it. I'm still
Ooh,
practicing for
yeah.
30 to 50, having consistent 30 to 50K months as my baseline.
Right,
And when I practice from that level, even how I'm coaching my clients changed.
absolutely.
And things like people pleasing.
Yeah,
I have to stop being the rescuer. I had
yeah.
to set some
So
boundaries. I chose to set some boundaries with some neighbors yesterday. It was very uncomfortable. But I felt the immediate relief. And I'm like, that
good.
version of Sarah doesn't do that. I just
Yeah.
don't. Like I don't have time for it. And I literally told my neighbor, I don't have time for this. And I know that sounds wrong, but or maybe it's not. I just
It's not, like,
yeah.
that's the thing, the expectation that we should just give our time and energy to anybody and everything
Right.
is bananas. Do you know
Right.
every idea we've talked about today, I've already created a short form piece of content to support it because
Of
it
course. Yeah.
was around that. Like, we give
Yeah.
our energy to everything all of the time, and
Right.
if it's our energy that creates, it's being siphoned off into fucking
Right.
neighbors and social media and celebrity gossip and all sorts of other bullshit. Our energy is being siphoned off and it feels
Right.
harmless and it's very normal, right?
Right.
It's very, but it's not, right?
Right,
It's not
right.
harmless, and it is, while it might be normal, it is not natural,
Right,
right?
and that's what I'm starting to notice is it's just nipping what do you call it? Like, getting rid of the static.
Yes. Yeah, getting the
And
static signal. Yeah.
yeah, and there's just things I'm no longer available for, and
Right.
actually, I'm nervous about talking about this, which means it's probably juicy.
Good. Say more.
One evolution for me has been I've always wanted to be available to everyone for everything. Like, Ryan, there was a point where little kids would just walk in my house.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was everywhere. Spirits, like, anything for anyone, anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm playing with this frequency of exclusivity,
Mm.
of not being available for everyone. And I'm bringing it up here because, again, I've learned the things we're most afraid to say are usually the
Yeah.
juiciest ones. And what does that look like? Like, the biggest nugget of it is when, and I'm not saying exclusive, like I'm better than you or anything
Right.
like that.
Yes.
But what I mean is if
Use the word
I'm,
elite in my
you what?
identity this morning, and
Did
I used
you?
in my identity practice, and I had the exact same thought you did. I'm like, not elite, like I'm better than you. Like, do you hear that? We
Yeah.
already feel the need to like correct the word that we
Yes.
chose.
Yes. Do you know what's
Yeah.
interesting? Because I think you're an 8 on the Enneagram too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like an 8 wing 3, I think.
No, I'm a 3.
Okay.
I'm a 3 and I perform an 8. So
Okay.
occasionally I will show up an 8 on the test, but I am
Yeah.
not,
Okay. Because you
I'm a,
hold 8 energy. I hold 8
I,
energy, but I like, how do I put it? Because 8s get such a bad rap.
yeah,
High frequency 8 is a good leader and more
right.
bold, but I realize I'm deconditioning
Yes.
that. Like, it's not a
Yeah.
bad thing, and it's not a better than you thing, it's where I
No.
perform best. And
Yeah.
so, it's just so interesting to play with. Exclusive in the sense that if you're giving all your energy over here to something,
Yeah.
do you have the capacity to serve at your highest level? And the
No.
answer is usually no. And yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts around exclusivity elite?
Yeah, because like I said, the reason is in our body is what happened was the rest of the world sees exclusive as elite as keeping people
Mhm.
out, right? Those
Yeah.
tend to be barriers of entry. If I'm not elite or
Yep.
I'm not exclusive, and
Mhm.
to me, I think we're both saying something different, right? Like
Right.
it's seeing yourself. And one of the things I teach, one of the identities I teach is the identity of the asset, right? Seeing yourself as the asset
Yeah.
because, you have to, you're the creator of
Yeah.
your reality. So it has to be elite, right? Like if
Yes.
I want a big life, if I want a big experience, if I want life to say yes to me,
Mhm.
I have to perform at an elite level for me.
Right.
And it is an elite
Ooh.
level for me.
Yes. I just got the coolest intuitive download about this. And I think it's because you have so many did you freeze?
No,
Oh, okay. I thought you froze. I was like, "Are you okay?" Um, but,
I
this
knew it was going to be good.
download
Hey, so I
Oh,
stopped.
okay. Yeah, no, it's because so many real estate agents listen. I
Yeah.
just saw it's like, if you build luxury houses and sell luxury houses, you don't bring somebody with the bungalow budget to the luxury neighborhoods ever, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, my first home wasn't
Yeah.
a it was a first-time home, you know,
Yeah.
and
I
that
too.
wasn't bad or less than,
Yes. Not even a
right?
little bit.
And so it's I don't know,
Right.
it's an interesting
It's a
thing.
lifestyle, it's a choice, it's what
Yeah.
you want to be, and like I said, to me, it was an elite in a way that holding like, the standard of which I hold myself to,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yes. Yeah,
it's
that's
not
it.
about elite in that I'm better than you, elite in that I perform better than others or whatever, it's not a
Mhm.
competition.
Yeah.
Right? And that's
Right.
actually one of the beliefs in the belief series, which I think this will come out. Yeah. So by the time
Yeah.
this comes out, we'll still be in the belief series. I think
Yeah.
we will be wrapping that up. It's that same week that 8 comes out. So you will have already read the one where I talk about like business being a battlefield and being a competition, right? We both thought of competitive. Like exclusive and elite was like a competitive word, and we're not using them in a competitive nature. We're using them
No.
in the way that we want to move through the world.
Yes. I love that, and I think that's a frequency that there's, like, a collective pooling of women right now,
Yeah.
of women who are elite, like, high-end collaborative, though. I had that convo with a client this morning. They're like, "I'm going to a networking and there's other coaches and therapists." And I'm like, "Great, you guys can work together." And I actually
Yeah.
said, "If you look at me and Ryan, we
Yeah.
do very similar things. Like, there's
Yeah.
no competition." I was like, "I
Yeah,
referred
but I love
one of
it.
my clients to her, and you like, there's
Ah,
what is it? The rising tide lifts all boats.
yep.
And
Yes.
and competition creates scarcity. It creates fear. It just doesn't, and I
Competition
just
that something anybody else can do can impact you,
right,
right? Competition is
right,
I win, you lose, you win, I lose. And
right,
it's like, but you're running your own fucking race.
right,
Like there's really nobody
right.
to compete against. I'll go back to my athlete days, right? The only person to
Mhm.
compete against is who we were yesterday.
Yeah,
So when
that's
I
true.
think of elite, it's yeah, am I more
Yeah.
tuned in today? Am I more focused today? Am I more, do I get more excited about the things? Do I massage
Right.
it? Like, am I alive to my life? Like that's the question I've been asking myself in like my identity
Yeah.
practice. Like I start with like, I want to be alive to my life. I want to every single moment, the
Yeah.
good bad ones. Like I want to be alive to it. Like we're going camping this weekend. This will come out after that, right? And like we're going camping. And in the past, I would have found it really stressful. And there's a lot of parts and pieces and details and blah, 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 and now I was like, no, we're gonna go
Mhm.
outside. Get dirty. It's gonna be a fucking disaster. It's gonna be gross. We might not shower for 2 days. Like we might just go in
Yeah.
the river, brush our teeth with a bottle of
Yep.
water, and just roll. And we're gonna have so much fun because I'm just
Yep.
alive to my life. Like I'm not trying to curate this picture perfect experience. I'm like, we're gonna go sleep in the woods and float down a river. And the place that we're staying has like a pool and pickleball courts and like
Oh,
a
that's fun.
we're going to Bennett Springs, which is not far from
Oh
you.
my gosh. Okay, so I've been laughing this whole time because I was gonna go camping this weekend, and I was like, "We should go to Bennett Springs," and we would have shown
Oh
up
my
at the
gosh,
same place.
we have plenty of room in our
I
campsite. It's fine.
I might join you Saturday night with our tent. And it was
Yeah.
the same thing of like, we can just go. We can
Yeah.
just yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
How is this happening? It's like that specific. Oh my
All
god.
right. I'm gonna
Okay.
wrap us up. Sarah and I'm not
Okay.
kidding.
Because we would
We're
do this for like 5 hours. We
gracefully
Joe
end this
Rogan it.
conversation.
Yeah.
Other than Sarah, tell everybody where to find you. Because guys,
Yeah.
seriously, even if Sarah works primarily with folks, and I'm gonna let her talk, but
Yeah.
um primarily with folks who are established, right? And you
Mhm.
want to create content, you're passionate about it. But even if you're just rolling around the idea of like, I want to start a
Mhm.
podcast, or what would that look like, or how does that
Yeah.
look like? You have everything from like, just you can pay to have a session and have Sarah's
Yep.
brain in your business up to like a completely done for you service, which is what I use.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
there's a lot of different ways to work with Sarah, but if you've been thinking about bringing your message to life
Mhm.
through content creation, again, having somebody who's intuitive and creative and does the work as like a partner in my content creation
Great.
has been such a game changer because it was a lot of
Thank
resistance
you.
for me for that. Like
Yeah.
I want to give it up because I was like, to
Yeah.
me, my content is my art, right? It would be
Right.
like painting a painting and just handing it off to some random fucking courier and crossing its
Yeah.
fingers where it's supposed to go. And that
Right.
did not feel good to me, right? I was like,
Yep.
this is my art. I want somebody that sees it as art, even if it's not for any other reason. Like you like my content because you like what I'm into, but you work with clients who their content is not your thing,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you still know it's their art.
Yeah.
Like you still held it with that reverence and
I
that respect.
do. I
And
do.
I feel like that's a really important content
Yeah.
creation.
You know, it's interesting you said that because I had a guest on my podcast, and they said some stuff that some people would think is politically incorrect. And Jeremy's
Mhm.
like, "You're not going to edit that?" I'm like, "It is not my place to censor or edit or
Right.
say what's right or wrong." And he was like, "That's pretty cool." So, yeah, you can come find me at what is my new website? Oh, just rebranded
I
as
know.
Sagittarius Rising Media Company. Yes, I am a Sagittarius Rising, but what I realized is as my business evolved, I believe businesses have their own entity to them, like they're a little
Yes.
being, and it needed something bold. And so Sagittarius Rising is all about speaking your truth, getting out there, like really being that iconic like category of one. Go speak your truth because it's your creation and your soul's passion. And also, when other people hear it, they're going to benefit from it. So,
Yes.
come check out Sagittarius Rising Media Company, which also puts a deadline on my website getting finished. But I host the Cool People Doing Cool Things podcast because I'm all
Interesting.
over and I know so many cool people doing cool things. And let's see, I'm mostly on Instagram at sarah.buehner. We'll put that in the show notes. It's fun to spell. But yeah, that's me. Come hang out, send me a message. I do offer single sessions, at least right now. And I also have a podcast workshop I created called How to Become a Podcasting Pro. And so then
Ooh.
I'm here. I do have a team, but to
Mhm.
me, well, not but, and the
Mhm.
most important thing to me is that frequency.
Right.
It's held with care, it's held intuitively,
Yes.
it's done right, right? So, even there's 3 of us besides
Yeah.
me, and so 4 total, and we're just having fun over here and getting people's voice out. And I'll wrap it up with, I believe when we share our story, when we speak, that podcasting is a spiritual pursuit. That
Yeah.
there's all this noise in the world. Well, what better can we do than to focus on positive things and making change? And it will challenge you spiritually to be visible, to,
Yeah.
confront your fears or self-esteem or, whatever it is. It's a spiritual process. And
It
so,
really
yeah, so that's me. That's where you can find me. So,
awesome.
yay.
Friend, I
This is
love
so
you. I
fun.
appreciate you. Thank you for being here. You guys
Same.
will see Sarah more in Ask Ryan and all the other
Yeah.
places, but thanks for this fun conversation. Thanks,
Yes.
friend.
So fun.
Bye, guys. See you soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Uncensored Self podcast. If this conversation cracked something open for you, trust that that's the work. And share this episode with a woman in your life who's ready to stop performing and start creating. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review. It helps this message reach the women who need it most. Remember, you're the creator. The rules are yours. And your uncensored self, she already knows what to do. Keep leading, keep listening, keep becoming.